You are a genius. My gosh, you are the smartest executive producer in the business. Yeah. Very good. Very good. And he gets winner chicken dinner. He gets a free chicken dinner for that one at the local Lincoln dinner for the Republican Party. By the way, why is it every chicken dinner at a Lincoln dinner is always awful? Can we work on those chicken dinners? I go to a lot of these things. AppGo provided pro bono work for the Clinton Global Initiative. Again, folks, nothing to see here at all. It's all a big coincidence. Don't you worry. None of this happened. We're all crazy. It's just nuts. It's not. I mean, it's the worst spy novel ever. If you submitted this for publication, you would be laughed at. You would be mocked. All right. Today's show also brought to you by our buddies at Filter By. Listen, it's been really cold over the winter. Thankfully, it's starting to warm up down here in Florida. But the problem, even with the warm up in Florida, is you get a lot of pollen, mold, and allergy-aggravating pollutants in the air. So either way, your HVAC system's working overtime. Folks, you don't want these things to break on you. It cost me a fortune. Both of mine blew out at the same time. I had to replace my ductwork, everything. If you aren't properly maintaining your filters, you're not only breathing unhealthy air. I was going to say crappy air, but we don't want to say that. But it's still crappy, but it's also unhealthy. You might find yourself with no heat and thousands in repairs. Now there's a better way with FilterBuy.com, America's leading provider of HVAC filters for homes and small businesses. You got 1,000 filters in your small business? These are your guys. You got 2 or 3 in your house? These are your guys, too. FilterBuy.com carries over 600 different filter sizes, including custom options, all shipped free within 24 hours, and they're manufactured right here in America. Good job, FilterBuy. FilterBuy offers a multitude of MERV options all the way up to hospital grade, some pretty clean air. So you'll be removing dangerous pollen, mold, dust, other allergy-aggravating pollution out of the air while maximizing the efficiency of your system. Right now, you can save 5% when you set up auto delivery, so you'll never need to think about air filters again. Save money, save time, breathe better with FilterBuy.com. That's FilterBuy.com, 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 and a sincere debt of gratitude to everyone who supports our sponsors. And I'm hesitant to address this, but I feel it's only responsible to do so. Most of you have emailed, who know what I'm talking about, have emailed me about it, but we have dropped a sponsor. It's a good company. They're not a bad company, but they made, I think, a very bad decision, and we have terminated our relationship with them. And I haven't told Joe about this before the show, but most of you have emailed me. I've responded back to you, and most of you can figure it out. We don't take that kind of money, and we never will. I'd rather go broke. So thanks for the emails on it. But I don't feel any need to further. They do good. They do a good job. I wouldn't have taken them on in the first place otherwise. But nah, my wallet will go dry before we do that. Okay, moving on. And that, by the way, that had nothing to do with FilterBuy. That is a great company. Obviously, we still did. I'm talking about a totally different thing. And those of you who emailed me on it, you know what I'm talking about. Folks, very, very, very important case being heard today. I'll tell you after the show, Joe, by the way.
Okay.
Huge case being heard in the Supreme Court today. This is going to be of mammoth importance. It is the Janus case. You mean, the Janus case. What the heck is this? The Janus case. Here's the deal. I'm not going to beat you up with the details on it because this is not Lawfare blog, right? But it's a case that's going to deeply impact the power of organized labor at the government level, state, federal, and local to influence politics. Right now, folks, it's clear as day. It's not a knock on union employees. Please don't email me hate mail. Well, you can. It's free speech. You can do what you want. I'll read them, but you're wasting your time. This is not what I feel. My brother's a union employee. So was my father for a very long time. You guys do, and ladies do hard work. God bless you. I'm simply saying that the model that organized labor management and interests have is not sustainable. It's just not. The finances aren't there for it. It's a violation of basic math. Saying otherwise is simply ignoring the hard reality, okay? It's not sustainable. State budgets are going bankrupt on pension promises they made that can't possibly be fulfilled. It's not that they don't want to. They can't. They took on way too much. So the problem with that is some of the unions have what are now called agency fees. These agency fees, Joe, are, you know what these are? When you're in a union, you don't have to be in the union. You still have to pay a fee called an agency fee. And that agency fee, the idea there is that, well, these unions are bargaining for everyone's interests, so you should have to pay too. Some of these people have said in response, and I think this is the right response, and I know some of you disagree, and that's fine. I don't want you bargaining for me, and I don't want to pay for it. If you choose to do so, great. Bargain for that's fine. I don't want it, and I don't want to pay. So there's a case, the Janus case, it's being heard today. It's probably going to be decided in June. That's going to determine if these agency fees, in other words, Joe, the forced payments to a union for what this person at least believes is political speech, on the legality of it.
Right.
I am convinced, as many others are, and I would be astonished if it didn't, that these fees are going to be thrown out as entirely unconstitutional. The reason I say that, Joe, is a very similar case against the California Teachers Association, one of their unions over there, one of their education interest groups, was left hanging on a 4-4 because Scalia tragically passed. So there weren't 9, there were only 8. So It was, now it's being heard again in a different format in what they call the Janus case today. They are going to lose. The unions there. I'm telling you, take it to the bank. They're going to lose now that Gorsuch's on the Supreme Court. I cannot imagine possibly, I'll have to correct myself otherwise, but it is going to be a 5-4 ruling. I believe Gorsuch will rule in favor that these are unconstitutional payments being made and unconstitutionally forced speech. But I don't want to get into the legal mockery. I was just setting you up here. There's a reason the Democrats are losing their minds over this today. There's a piece in the New York Times. I'm not going to put it in the show notes. I'll just because it's a long, boring piece. But you can always count on the New York Times to air the Democrat grievances. Now, Joe, why do you think the Democrats are losing their minds over this? Because who did Democrats get their money from primarily in elections? Special interests and labor interests, because they support big government pension payments, right?
Unions.
So this is from the New York Times piece. They talk about how this is going to impact the vote if they lose this. It says a recent paper by Mr. Hertel Fernandez and 2 colleagues may foretell what Democrats can expect if Mr. Uline and his fellow philanthropists succeed. In other words, the people who want these agency fees thrown out. This is crazy, Joe. Listen to this. It found that the Democrats' share of the presidential vote dropped by an average of 3.5 percentage points. You know how much that is?
Wow.
After the passage of right-to-work laws allowing employees to avoid paying union fees. Listen to this, folks. Take this sucker to the bank. This is the most important sentence you're going to hear all day. That is larger than the Democrats' margin of defeat in several states that could have reversed their last 3 presidential losses. In other words, this could be an earthquake for our national political scene. We may be talking about percentage points of the vote that are dispositive in the outcome of a national presidential election from this point on. That was due to right to work. Forget about agency fees. It would wipe out millions and millions of tens of millions of dollars in forced payments that would have went where, Joseph? Into Democrat coffers eventually. Folks, they are in a full-blown panic over this. Again, union guys and ladies out there, I love you. Whether it's coming from the heart, whether you believe it or not, is your call. I don't care. I know what's in my heart. My heart is pure. I'm telling you, you have not been represented well. You have been represented by people who made demands that could not possibly. And Joe, we said the same thing about Social Security last week. It impacts me too. So don't give me, it's easy for you to say, man. No. Time out. You don't listen to my show. I gave up my government pension, so no one's going to lecture me about it. Thank you. Have a nice day. I'm simply telling you, if this thing goes down and these payments are no longer forced for people to pay in the unions that don't want the representation, it is going to be catastrophic for unions. And it's their fault, Joe, for not balancing, my opinion, for not balancing their political interests. That's not what they did. Big mistake. Okay, let's see. How are we doing here on time? All right, I got time for one more thing. You good? All right. This is going to be a tough one. So, I have a personal friend in politics, Brian Mast, who is a very heroic, patriotic American. He is the congressman in District 18 in Florida, where I live, down here in Martin County. He's still a friend and will remain so. But he is my representative, and he is in the public sphere, as am I. And people take shots at me, and it's fair enough. I disagree with him, but he has made a catastrophically bad decision. I didn't tell you this either.
No.
So Brian is a member of Congress, again, Florida District 18, and came out with a decision to basically put severe constraints on the sale of rifles, chambered in sportsman rounds and self-defense rounds and all kinds of rounds. It is an awful decision. My problem with this decision is that it's not how Brian ran for office. He ran as a Republican, and I was a friend to him, and I warned him one time that a lot of people placed their faith in him because he's a war hero, and he was, and he still is, but that they would be severely disappointed. Folks, I'm saying this because it's painful and it's personal what happened this weekend. I'm not going to relay any personal communications. It's not relevant to the conversation, but I just want you to understand, just like I told you about the sponsor situation, that this isn't just a show to me and Joe, all right?
Right.
Joe, I think you can attest to the audience. I don't need the money anymore. Thanks to a lot of success. Listen, I'm not sitting here, hey, look, I'm not doing a Thurston Howell on you. I'm just telling you, money is not my motivation. We're fine. We've made some smart business decisions. We're A-okay. I don't need anything from anyone anymore. We're all right. This show is my passion. It's the reason we don't skip Christmas, Thanksgiving, nothing. Joe and I have never missed a show.
Right.
Because it's my heart and my passion. And just like the sponsor situation, even though Brian is and will remain a personal friend, I owe it to my audience to defend what I think is right. And this is not right. This is an unconstitutional move. It will do nothing. Zero to stop gun crime. It will do nothing to stop crime in general. It will do nothing to stop mass shootings. The evidence is overwhelming. Listen to my show from last week. It feeds into left-wing hysteria that putting more obstacles in front of legal gun owners who have done nothing wrong is going to somehow stop murderous, violent, rampaging criminals from preying on the innocent among us. It will do nothing. It is a grotesque violation of the principles we stand for and that he ran on, and I'm extremely disappointed. I'm encouraging anyone who can find the backing or anyone who can find the conservative guts to get out there and do it, to seek a primary run. And it saddens me to say it because he is a good man. He just made a very, very bad decision. Sorry I had to put that out there, but it's important. All right, tomorrow's show, I'll include in the show notes today this article so you can kind of brush up for tomorrow. But I want to go over to tomorrow some just getting rid of some nonsensical gun myths that are out there that sadly some people are still parroting. Again, Joe, I've heard the gun show loophole this weekend, folks. Yeah. There is no gun show loophole, okay? There is no gun show loophole. There is no federal gun show loophole. There is no state gun show loophole. It is nonsense. The gun show loophole is a myth. Every single purchase of a firearm made from an FFL, a licensed federal firearms dealer, at a gun show or elsewhere, has to be background checked. The gun show loophole is a focus group tested talking point to the left to confuse you. The only sales that don't mandate a background check are private-to-private sales by citizens of the same state. I'll put an article up by Sean Davis. It's an older one at the Federalist at the show notes today. It's terrific. Sean Davis is magic on Twitter. He is a terrific guy. Follow his account. There is no gun show loophole. None. It does not exist. If you go to a gun show and buy from one of the, in some cases, hundreds of federally licensed firearm dealers there, I absolutely promise you on my life, you will do a background check and you will fill out a 4473. 1,000%. The only sales are private-to-private sales. It doesn't matter if it happens at a gun show or anywhere else. If from residents of the same state. That is it. Stop the nonsense. It's not true. But I'll have more of those tomorrow I want to debunk, so it's important. Don't miss tomorrow's show. All right, folks, I appreciate it. Appreciate you sticking with us last week. And I'm also going to get to this piece by Kurt Schlichter that is awesome about how we fight back against this economic war going on against the NRA and everyone else. I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Please visit Bongino.com. Check out the show notes today. Thanks a lot, folks. See you tomorrow.
You just heard the Dan Bongino Show. Get more of Dan online anytime at conservativereview.com. You can also get Dan's podcasts on iTunes or SoundCloud. And follow Dan on Twitter 24/7 at DBongino.